As twin brothers, the two of us spent our entire life playing video games together. Whether it was sharing a co-op game or taking turns grinding out single-player adventures, we would spend a couple of months to even years finishing games with each other. We even played the same games at the same time and talked about our experiences with one another. To this day, we still do these kind of things. But one day, back in January of 2015, we came up with a different way to experience playing games with each other. Today's story is about taking a brief look at our early Friday night adventures. These accounts steadily formed into a tradition that's been going strong for many years. We've created countless memories and moments from these Friday nights. From moments of accomplishment, feelings of nostalgia, forgetting about stressful times by laughing throughout the small hours, and even nights filled with frustration and unexpected letdowns. On a cold January afternoon, Matt came up with a unique idea to play our games together. It was our senior year of high school, and I don't know, I wanted to come up with something exciting for us to look forward to after a long, mundane week of school. So, here's what I pitched to Mike. What if the two of us randomly select a game from our rather small collection at the beginning of the week, and then on Friday, we spend that night playing that game together. Then repeat that process the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and so on. We'll eat delicious junk food, and turn on some cool lighting to create an aesthetic. We'll give it an official name too. Friday Night Game Night, or FNGN for short. I thought that sounded entertaining. I mean, we spent most Fridays watching YouTube, so that's better than doing that. So on January 9th, 2015, we held our first Friday Night Game Night. We continued our playthrough of Secret of Mana for the Super Nintendo that we abruptly stopped playing the year prior. Throughout our senior year, every Friday night involved us playing a different game for which we shared a lot of great times together. We predicted we'd stop doing this a few weeks into college and grow up and do normal extroverted adult things. Fast forward 7 years and over 360 Fridays later, we're still going strong. And that is called No Life. Or a unique tradition. Your call. We figured, why not share a few game night stories through our first year in 2015? Like we stated earlier, we select a game at random and play it come Friday night in the comfort of our basement. We play that game and that game only throughout the entire night until we get too tired. Gaming is best when coupled with good food and drinks. That's right, there's a few rules and traditions that are required. We have to accompany ourselves with food, preferably fast food or pizza. Beer is the cherry on top, only if we're in the mood to drink. Take a quick picture of the title screen and our food, and we're all set. We enjoy and take pride in documenting our memories, whether it's taking a multitude of pictures, recording videos, taking screenshots, or writing blogs. Okay, that one only lasted about 10 game nights, and the tradition of taking pictures and videos didn't transpire until FNGN number 12, when we played Mario Party 3. Regrettably, we have no records of the first 10 game nights. However, our first FNGN picture was taken on the 5th Friday when we beat Rayman Origins for the Wii. Yes, this is the first game night to feature a groundbreaking snap of a picture, but it was also the first that didn't feature a grand feast at the start. A truly catastrophic circumstance. The only game that broke this essential rule. No one actually cares except for us. No need to worry though, we grabbed some fucking sun chips and multi-grain chips later that night. And juice. Alright, enough of the food. It's called game night for a reason. Let's talk about the video games. That game night was wacky to say the least. Game night number 5. Rayman Origins for the Wii. A fantastic platformer. We had a great time with this as we took in the vibrant and visual detailed graphics and atmospheres. Gourmet land and luscious lakes, hands down the best worlds. Your platformer on kitchen utensils, frozen fruits through a tropical tundra. Again with the food. Enough! We gotta praise the soundtrack for a quick second because damn, it's got everything. It's catchy and peppy. There's a blend of calming songs to soothe the soul that make you want to drink a martini on the beach in Hawaii. The whistles start blowing and suddenly, your depression vanishes like magic. Mysterious and suspenseful songs creep in, convincing you to believe that something is lurking around the corner. Some songs that we can't even explain. There's the kazoo. Come on, tell me that's not music at its finest. The beats are guaranteed to force you to jam out. Anytime you have characters who can do this, you know you're set for the time of your life. We remember laughing and goofing off the majority of the time while we trolled during most levels and raced each other during every single loading screen. When we started playing that night, we were already on the 3rd world since we previously played the game earlier that year. Our pacing was smooth and we were chugging along. So we made it our goal to beat the game that night. But this task proved to be a difficult one, primarily due to one of the greatest moments we had during that night, to bubblize the Mockingbird boss battle. All of the boss battles in this game are truly creative, but man, this one can go to bird hell. One of the most annoying yet funniest boss battles we've ever experienced in a video game. Matt would die, Mike would die, over and over. We both just kept dying to the dumbest things. The bird pissed us off. Just listen to it. We couldn't take it. Constantly losing every 4 seconds made our blood boil. That meant constantly hearing this obnoxious laugh. We were so aggravated yet focused, but we could hardly maintain a straight face. We just kept laughing at the stupid bird and the foolish mistakes that we were making. I think we lost it at that point. After what felt like an hour, we finally learned how to kill the Mockingbird. All it took was like 3 hits. 3! It was one of those, really? That was all we had to do? Moments. We sat there feeling like the biggest idiots after the fight. Then there was the final boss, which, believe it or not, was 10 times worse. And don't even get us started on the level before it. Yeah, we're not going to divulge into that. Alright, fine. Talk about trial and error. In order to beat this level, you need nothing but pure concentration and precise movement. Pile that on top of dealing with another player, this is a platforming nightmare, yet a thrilling, intense masterpiece at the same time. Instead of being chased like you were during a few previous boss battles, you're doing the chasing. It's a rush. Then the final level. Just believe us when we say that this is a long, brutally intense level that wreaks havoc from all angles of the screen. It was disastrous, but failing doesn't give you a reason to give up. After 40 minutes of valorous effort, we came out triumphant. We leaned back into our chairs in relief to take in the credits as they roll by, and roll, and roll, and roll. Good lord! These credits lasted longer than the time it took us to defeat the Mockingbird and the final 2 levels combined. Hold on. Can we really complain? We have no friends. This moment will forever go down in our gaming history. Did we mention we have no friends? Not all of our game nights end the way that we want them to. Our birthday was held on a Friday in 2015, and we decided to play Kirby's Epic Yarn. For some reason, we've always been interested in playing this ever since it was released back in 2010. We got this game for Christmas in 2014. I remember holding this game in my hands numerous times while shopping with our mom in Kohl's. Yeah, Kohl's. If you're ever in dire need of video games, Kohl's got your back, boys. We popped that bad boy in, grabbed our Wiimotes, and were eager to start a co-op adventure on our 19th birthday, because that's what most 19-year-olds do for their birthdays. I kinda doubt that. So the game starts and holy, what in the in the ass is going on? What is this narration?
Funny, Kirby thought. It feels like pants.
What is this story? What are we watching? Nick Jr.? What, is Oswald gonna suddenly show up and seamlessly turn into a battleship? Thought this was supposed to be epic. The narration made it feel like we were celebrating our 4th birthday. I just want to be a cool Nintendo gamer, not a giant pussy. Luckily, the gameplay made up for it. Everything was so charming, from the clean movement, the handcrafted art style, their creative platforming, and the unique abilities. Kirby games are fantastic. If you can play them with more than one player, even better. The 2 of us were having so much fun that we didn't realize how quickly we breezed through the first 2 worlds. That's when we decided, oh yeah, we're beating this game in one night. Guaranteed. There's only 4 stages per world, plus the boss stage. 2 bonus levels are included in each world, but we only completed 2 out of the 4 so far. Unfortunately, our confidence of beating the game abruptly died down because we hit a wall. New plan, 1 more level, and we're gonna call it quits and pack her up. The last level we played was Toy Tracks, the first stage in World 3, but it took longer than it should have. I couldn't help myself, okay? How could you not mess around on this level? The concept of it was begging for me to everything up. So at the end, both players have to draw train tracks by pointing the Wiimote at the TV in order for the tank engine to get across. Oh, I made it deliberately difficult for us to navigate. You may have been extremely annoyed at me, but we were laughing the entire time. Good times. That night ended with some house decorating and an ounce of regret for not beating the game that night. But no need to fret. We came back to this game 4 years later, and the narration may have been a bit on the cheesy side, but it's not that bad after we looked at it from a different approach. Friday night game nights aren't about beating the game in one sitting. We play some games for the nostalgia trip, games we haven't played yet. Sometimes we're in the mood to mess around and wind down with a simple party game. We even bust out the bad games for shits and giggles. Anything can happen. That's what makes this tradition fun. Since we've already talked about 2 games from the beginning of 2015, let's talk about one that took place later down the year while we were in college. Thanksgiving break had just ended and we were back on campus. So you know what that means, finals month. And boy, we were a couple of stressed freshmen. What better way to ease some of that stress than to play an old school classic for the 48th game night. Ew, a sports game? Get this crap out of here. I know, a sports game. But hold on, this game is wild. If you're not a fan of football or sports in general, then yeah, this game still won't change your views. Nonetheless, this classic isn't like most football games. Looking at you, Madden. In other words, it's not realistic. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and it has an authentic arcade style to it. It even had its own arcade back in the good old 2000s. Oh, and there's babes. And you can do this. We spent that night laughing and beating the shit out of one another. The two of us would randomly select a team and play against each other. One matchup featured the New England Cheaters and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Disgusting. Our two least favorite NFL teams. Sorry, Steelers and Patriot fans. Not really. So we played like absolute ass. That's not how the game of football works, by the way. The final score for one game was 100-94, mostly from kick return touchdowns and double overtime. That is not normal. Typically, our competitive sibling senses tend to take over anytime we play a versus game, but that night, we threw that out the window. Well, those were just a few excerpts from our Friday adventures. There's plenty more Friday night game night stories to recount, and even more games to play in the future. We plan on continuing this tradition that we seamlessly created in January of 2015 for as long as we can, even if that means elaborating the specifics of solemnly eating a bag of Sun Chips.